Next on America's Day at the Races, Celtic Chaos is well known on the New York Sprint Circuit with multiple stakes wins. Victory goes through him in today's 8th race at Belmont. He'll have to try and run down the speedy California Knight armed with a perfect jockey to suit his front-running style. He'll play Catch Me If You Can with Kendrick Carmouche in the irons, who's having a fantastic meet. Welcome to America's Day at the Races. It is presented in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. It's also brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. The Silks of Triple Crown winner Justified. We're just a week away from the third and final leg of the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes, the test of the champion, coming right here to Belmont Park. We look forward to that. War of Will, the Preakness winner, will be tackling a very tough group. We'll talk more about that race a little bit later on in the show. Greg Wolf alongside four-time Major League All-Star Paul LaDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. We have a beautiful day today. And Celtic Chaos in that 8th race. It's come off the turf. We're off the turf all day long. I love this horse. I'm a big fan. He's been around for a long, long time, and he is a warrior on this circuit.
Yeah, only a 4-horse field, and he's the kind of horse that probably needs a lot of pace in front of him. He gets a tiny bit lucky considering the other 3 horses do have a little bit of speed, but I hate taking deep closers in short fields.
I agree, and the one he has to beat, California Knight, might be the speed of the speed.
Yeah.
And Celtic Chaos, the good Celtic Chaos, he'd probably find a way to run these horses down.
Yeah, I
And
guess
I know
we-
this was a solid effort. This is 2 races back for him. Now, maybe he's gotten older and he didn't love the sloppy seal track last time. I'm a little concerned that his last race, the fast pace, he could have run a little bit better. I know he couldn't have beaten Pat in the back, but he could have finished second or
Yeah,
third.
Pat in the back was good. I love Lulu is a nice sort. You know what? Celtic Chaos, the other part of this, I think he might be a better horse at Saratoga, too.
We'll find out. He finished ahead of I Love Lulu 2 starts back. Maybe he didn't love that sloppy going that day.
Sometimes they get older, they
Possibility.
just, even though they've liked it in the past, they just don't like it on a given day.
Yeah.
Get signed up, started. You can play along with Naira Bets. Bet $200. You will get a $200 new member bonus in your account when you use the promo code LIVE at sign up at any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray at Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone, the main track fast. And of course, we are off the turf this afternoon. We also have racing coming up at Churchill Downs. We have Jonathan Kinchin stationed in Louisville. We'll check in with him a little bit later. Right now, we set the stage for race 6. It's the start of the late pick 4. This was scheduled for the turf as well. It comes onto the main track, New York Breds, $40,000 maiden claiming event. And here's our first horse in the field, a first-time starter for David Donk.
Yeah, this one, Cataract, obviously, like most of these, entered to run on the turf. It's really kind of a sneaky turf pedigree, first-time starter.
Main track only entrant here is Nepper for Rudy Rodriguez.
You know, this horse got bet first time out with blinkers. They took the blinkers off. Now they're gelding and dropping. If he can run, he better run today.
Preston Court, he showed ability first time out on the dirt. Mike Leslie rides for John Morrison.
My top choice. I love the horses from the very unstable.
Adding blinkers this afternoon. Yeah, that's the ownership group. Hurricane Andrew, the 9, it's 6-1 here for Joseph Parker.
Actually ran okay on the turf last time, but dirt more of a question.
If you like the overdue angle, you might want to go with a 10 here. Well in tune, 0 for 24.
Yeah, they dropped her into a maiden special weight race, and she's 101-1. She's 0 for 24, his 25th time the charm.
Kieran McLaughlin sends out Legion Storm. Luis Saez rides.
You know, they took the blinkers off this gelding 4 starts ago, and it really hasn't done much. He does the same thing. He just lags back and makes one run.
And cause for applause. Dylan Davis aboard the main track only entrant.
This one could end up the favorite, or perhaps it'll be Legion Storm. Improving the turf last time, would probably have to run faster than he did in his debut on the dirt.
Yeah, that one favored right now. Was a distant second for New York bred 50 maiden claiming in his debut. Check in with the 4th member of our team this afternoon. Just taking a look at the horses on track right now. That's Maggie Wolfendale. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Greg. And yeah, they are going right by me as they are beginning their warm-ups for this 6th race. Want to check in with the 2 MTO entrants. Beginning with number 4, that is Nepper, who returns as a new gelding. This $225,000 yearling purchase. Nice pedigree, obviously, and it shows. I mean, physically, he's a good-looking horse, but he has shown absolutely nothing on the racetrack. So a drop in class with the gelding, well, they're hoping to change things around for him. He looks great, as he always does. A little bit more calm, obviously, with that equipment change, so that's a good thing. He just needs to show that he can actually do a bit of running here. I mean, getting on the main track is fine going this distance. I think that's an optimal thing for him, but like I said, he just is really not proven to be much. Now, number 13, Calls for Applause, is interesting. I thought he'd really like the turf, but maybe he's just a little bit on the cheaper side overall, and he returns back to the main track in this maiden claimer. But the thing is that comparing him from his first start to this start, physically, he's a completely different animal. I mean, he's filled out so much. He's far more athletic than what he was back in December of his 2-year-old season. So there's every reason to believe that this horse can run well on the main track, given his physicality. So we'll see what he does here. The only thing that concerns me with him is actually possibly the distance on the main track. Might be a little bit tiring for him, given this is only his 3rd start of his career. Moving on to number 7, Preston Court. No, Andy likes this horse. I like the blinkers on. Guys, this horse is so much more awake than he was last time. He was so dull and just kind of listless in the paddock and pre-race going back to April 19th on the turf. I know it doesn't represent in his running lines because he made the lead, but I think he could be dangerous. He looks a lot better to me this time around. First-time starters, number 3, Catarat. I thought this guy had a decent look. Probably much more of a turf horse, but big, good-looking type for Dave Donk. Obviously, we'll take the wait-and-see approach, guys.
All right, good rundown there. Thanks, Maggie, of many of the main contenders here in this group. Yeah, I thought Preston Court, that 7, is going to be dangerous in here.
Yeah, I think he's a very interesting player to square price right now at 5-1, Greg.
Here's a look what we have for you on America's Day at the Races, 6 through 9 out here at Belmont. That's the Pick 4 off the turf at Churchill Downs. We have races 8 and 9. They are fast and firm. Let's go to Louisville right now. Check in with the winner of the 2015 NHC Tour. That is Jonathan Kinchin, live from Louisville. Good to see you, Jonathan.
Fellas, how are you? I am here at Churchill Downs. It's one of my favorite racetracks. When you walk in these gates, I don't care if it's Derby Day, Oaks Day, or a random Friday in May, it feels special. It feels like you're walking into Lambeau or the Garden or something like that. I love walking into this place. Like you said, we're going to cover 2 races, the 8th and the 9th. The 9th will be on the turf. The 8th will be on the main track. We got allowance horses sprinting on the dirt in the 8th. We've got 30 claimers on the turf in the 9th. The rails are down. They were off the turf yesterday, but we should have some nice, clean inside grass to run on. Bourbon Calling in the 8th race, the 3-horse, is the favorite right now. I took a peek at the double will pays. It feels like it's going to switch to the 10. 12th Labor will actually go off as the favorite in this spot. Really complicated race, if you ask me. It's an allowance race. 5 of these horses have won their last race. A lot to try to figure out. I really like the 2-horse here, Who's in Charge. I thought Who's in Charge was a horse that broke the maiden down at Gulfstream. 3 horses from that race, and we'll elaborate that right before they break from the gate. 3 horses from that race have broken their maiden since that were running in behind him. I think he's sitting at a nice price at 7-1 right now. I wouldn't talk anyone off of the horses that are showing up in this race. It's a very complicated race, and hopefully we can get this 2-horse home. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. That's a look at Who's in Charge. So first time out, this was at Gulfstream in early February. Got that maiden score 24-1 in the debut.
And if you look through the field this horse was in, there were a number of horses that came back out of that race to run very well going forward. And I know he wired the field, and there's this idea that Gulfstream's a big speed track. Gulfstream was not heavily favoring speed that day.
No, you can see the horse charging up the inside, but I think a big shot here. What are you getting on the price right now? I can't see what the glare. 7-1.
Competitive field. I mean,
Yeah,
some other nice
it is
maiden breakers.
competitive
Beanie
field.
Award. 12th Labor had a nice win last time out. This is a solid race.
Lupaloo, I don't know if I can trust that horse at 7-2. I think maybe in the exotics, but I don't know more on the win.
Fast
candidate
Fig
side.
last time, but had a lot of chances to get there.
Yeah.
Lupaloo the 6, yeah, 92 buyer in a win at Oaklawn. That was on a track labeled good that day as we look at Beamy Award. Another horse coming in from Oaklawn for trainer Steve Asmussen, recently gelded off a win as a maiden back on May the 3rd. Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard today.
Of course, a name for Jason Beam, who's currently calling the races at Monmouth Park, and he gives his Internet Beamy Awards. Everybody loves them but me, but I'm a sourpuss. But he was fast last time.
Yeah, he was, and the worry is he wins the race and he gets gelded after the race. I know he's a little bit green
I
there.
don't buy it. I don't buy he was gelded after his
I'm
last
with you.
race.
He might have been
That's
gelded before. He was
nonsense.
reported gelded
I don't buy it.
after that race, but he looks good. You know, listen, I try to beat these horses because the toughest race for a racehorse is the first time against winners, and that's why Lupaloo and Beamy Award I thought were horses that you could beat there.
All right, we'll get back to that. We're about 12 minutes away from that 8th race at Churchill Downs. More with Jonathan Kinchin coming up as well as we take a look at the 12. Two of the main contenders in this race, both drawn here to the outside. Co-favorites Legion Storm, who you're looking at, and Cause for Applause, the 13.
Legion Storm might win simply because he's faster. If you look at his races, he consistently runs some figures faster. But there are a lot of horses like the number 13 Cause for Applause and the 7 Preston Court that could move up. And Legion Storm seems to run the same race every single time, and what it involves is never having any punch.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I want, like, when I first looked at Legion Storm, my thought process was, okay, this horse is a better, maybe dirt horse than a turf horse. And they've taken the blinkers off, and he's gotten worse. And do I forgive, like, how many times you keep forgiving the same horse? And I always talk about sometimes it's the same movie. Now, when you get to the 13, there's less experience, and the 7, because the 7, let's face it, probably is going to be the horse to catch in here. And if he is the horse to catch, I don't want to.
He's potentially the speed.
If he gets to the front end, he's going to be tough because I don't know. Nobody's really going to want to pass in here, Andy.
Well, it's hard to know for sure with horses like the 4.
I hope he goes to the front. I'll tell you that much.
Nepper's going to be quick to 4, yeah.
I mean, just potentially. It's hard to know. But I'd like to see Mike Leslie be aggressive because Preston Court is potentially the speed.
Now, too many of us like this horse to
I
make me
agree.
feel safe
I
as
agree.
well.
He's got
Seems
no
I think
shot.
we all do.
5-1 with everybody liking him. No shot.
What's a 12 jog?
2 sprint, stretched out on turf where he showed speed. Blinkers go on today, so yeah, you expect more pace in this one as well. We're just about set. Race 6 from Belmont, mile and a 16th main track. Let's go to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call. Larry Colmus to kick off the late pick 4 here on America's Day at the Races.
Here's Well in Tune moving into the starting gate next. And the 2 horses vying for favoritism, Legion Storm and Cause for Applause, who's currently the 9-5 choice, will complete the line. They're all in line. They're off. And it's Preston Court who goes out to the early lead. On the far outside, Cause for Applause away second, and Legion Storm is right with them. So it's these 3 out for the front, and they're clear of Hurricane Andrew, who's going up with them now, splitting horses, and 4th early on. Nepper's not far behind and down on the inside, just a length and a half off the lead, and moving forwardly now all the way up into 3rd. And then it's back to Well in Tune, and Cataract is last of them all. Up the backstretch, the opening quarter mile, 23.67 seconds for Preston Court and Mike Leslie, who lead at a half a length. Legion Storm on the outside, second. Nepper is 3rd. Cause for Applause, 4th on the outside. And then it's Well in Tune in 5th, 5 lengths from the front. Backpedaling here is Hurricane Andrew, and last of them all is Cataract. 47.56 was the half mile. As they round the far turn, there's a half mile to go. Preston Court the leader by a neck. Legion Storm turns up the heat on the outside, second. After that comes Cause for Applause in 3rd. Nepper is 4th. Hurricane Andrew, who was dropping back before, is now making another run and is up running in 5th on the far outside. While Well in Tune is riding the rail on that turn, now 3 lengths behind. 3/4, 113.07. They're coming to the top of the stretch. Preston Court. On the outside is Legion Storm. Cause for Applause outside of them. Now it's Cause for Applause and Legion Storm 1-2. And then comes Preston Court, who's given way on the inside, followed by Well In Tune and Nepper. Passing the 16th pole, and it is Cause for Applause. And Dylan Davis is going to go on to his third win today. Legion Storm was second, Preston Court was third, and Nepper was fourth.
Well, as you heard from Larry Colmus, big day today for Dylan Davis, number 3 this afternoon, as the main track only entrant gets the job done as the favorite.
That's what's called being much the best. Perched the perfect trip on the outside and drew off as the much the best, Paul.
Yeah, you're right. The 7 got all that he wanted on the front end. The 12 stalked a pace. You could see right there, Luis Saez looked under his arm. He thought he had plenty of horse, and Andy's completely right. It's his definition of just much the best, cause for applause. And sometimes I always try to tell people, sometimes in these races, 0 for the least is good. And that's why this horse got bet late.
Well, I agree. I mean, that's
had
why,
a good dirt race.
that's why horses, particularly the 7 and 13, were appealing as alternatives to the 12 Legion Storm. They had 2 and 3 starts and just 1 and 2 starts on dirt, respectively. Legion Storm ran his race. He just found somebody to beat him.
And Preston Court's going to need
just not good enough.
Yeah, she's not good enough, and he's going to need another drop.
Cause for applause, Dylan Davis, Christophe Clement. Start off this late pick 4 and do so as the favorite here. Well, the prices from race 6 when we return, set up race 7, and we'll get out to Churchill Downs as well as there's 7 minutes to post. Stay tuned.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tapit has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Can't remember. We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Cause for applause. Oftentimes, race taken off the turf, they put the main track only horses in there for a reason.
It's true, and congratulations to this little gelding by Creative Cause out of Smart Strike mare, True Believer. Dylan Davis, another winner on the race card, and ends up being your favorite. But I don't think it's going to play any different. I think a lot of people went 2 or 3 deep in the late pick 4. The late pick 5
Legion
started off a
Storm
little
was actually a shorter price than the doubles.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah, and you got to beat Dr. Hip, because I think a lot of people were singling Dr. Hip maybe in the late pick 5 or the late pick 4. And I think he'll get some value, and I think you can beat him in this race.
This race, mile and a 16th, scheduled for the main track, and it's a 25,000 claiming race. Horses who've not won 2 lifetime, and it is Dr. Hip, who's 8-5 right now as the favorite. So going turf to dirt, David Duggan, Jose Ortiz. We'll get back to this race. Paddock Report, post-parade coming up. But more immediately, we have the 8th race out at Churchill Downs. 3 minutes to post. Let's head back to Jonathan Kinchin as you get a quick look at the odds here. 12th Labor, Gabriel Saez, Dallas Stewart, now your favorite from that outside post, coming off that big win at Churchill. Jonathan.
Fellas, what's going on? This 10-horse 12th Labor has turned into the favorite here and drawn perfectly outside, and obviously makes a lot of sense in this spot. I'm going to look for a little bit of a better price. I'm not really crazy about Bourbon calling the 3-horse taking all this money. Took maiden 75 for this one to finally break the maiden. Not exactly what I want to see when facing a very competitive race like this. And then if you look to my horse, the 2-horse that I picked, Who's in Charge, came down to 5-1 just now. Here's a couple of reasons and a great handicapping angle that I like to utilize is looking back to see what horses behind this horse did in the maiden win in terms of figures. Now, winning is also important. It's the key race idea. But all 3 horses, 2nd, third and fourth place horses that were behind Who's in Charge down at Gulfstream have all come back to break their maiden, and they've all improved or matched their figure. That gives me a lot of confidence that this horse is coming out of a key race, a race that that I have the confidence in betting out of it. Some horses that I'll probably use underneath if you're looking for a little bit of a price. I think the 9-horse Rubus makes a lot of sense. Ignore the mile, the 2-turn efforts, and looked a little bit lower in the PPs when he was sprinting, making a lot of noise. Didn't really get there in terms of the winner's circle, getting his picture taken, but he was running fast figures, and at 8-1, he's a great horse to try to hook up underneath. But I'm going to stick with my top choice, and that's the 2 Who's in Charge.
So 6-1. Thanks, Jonathan. On the one he likes, and here the 2-horse for Armando de la Cerda, won the debut at Gulfstream. And productive runners behind him.
You look a little bit like Scott Baio.
Well, we were talking about it beforehand with the two. And I agree with Jonathan. By
I
the
didn't know
way,
where you were going with it.
I agree with Jonathan about Who's in Charge. Who's in Charge faced a field that makes the 77 buyer actually look a little low, if anything. And he's right. Horses came back out of that race to improve dramatically. I think it was a very solid effort. I like this horse.
This is an interesting race. Now I put my check mark on the 10. And because I just thought the horse was dynamite with the blinkers on. But again, I don't love betting favorites that low first time against winners.
Well,
I really don't.
Let me say something else. Well, you know, I mean, a number of these, obviously, Beamy Award also, and the 2, they're coming off maiden wins, the 6, Loopaloo. 12 Labor, who can absolutely win here, he did break his maiden last time with his best figure on a wet, fast track. So he might be a horse that prefers moisture in the track.
Yes, that's a question mark. Late money on the 6, Loopaloo, by the way. So down to 5-2 on the 6-horse.
There's pace in this race, and the 4 to me, Soaring Bird, is the horse that you can use underneath. Jonathan talks about the 9. I think the 4, faced in this condition, a lot of these horses coming out of maiden special weight, look for that horse late.
Horses like the 4 and 9. I mean, the 9 is turning back, which I always like, but they are horses that are piling up the seconds with just the 1 win in many starts.
Yeah, Rubus, the 9, just 1 for 15. Travis Stone with the call. Here's race 8 from Churchill Downs.
And they're off. Bit of a slow start for Who's in Charge and Soaring Bird. Beamy Award is sent hard out of the gate. Racing out after that lead. Loopaloo is also there. Rubus on the far outside comes away racing third. So down the backstretch they go. Loopaloo comes on through to take over. 5 furlongs out. Beamy Award is keeping pace on the outside in second. Rubus comes away third well in the clear. Coltonator over to the inside to be fourth. 12th Labor up into fifth. Who's in Charge is back in sixth. Soaring Bird and Bourbon Collin at the back of the pack as the field. It's the far turn run. Loopaloo in front by a length. Rubus moves up to be second on the outside now. Beamy Award is back into third. Coltonator saving all sorts of ground. Sneaking up into third now within 2.5 lengths of the lead. Then it's Who's in Charge trying to wind up from the back of the pack and Bourbon Calling as well. At the quarter pole, here comes Rubus rolling up on the far outside to take over the lead. It's Rubus in front. Coltonator continues to close in toward the inside now, second and closing in. Coltonator half length to make up on Rubus with 1/8 of a mile to go, and here comes Coltonator riding the rail to the front. Rubus has to fight back, and Rubus responds right back, defends the challenge and wins. Rubus first on the wire, Coltonator was second, Bourbon Calling third, Soaring Bird was fourth.
Well, I didn't know if Rubus was going to seal the deal because he has a lot of seconds in his running lines, but this time he does finish as he holds off Coltonator the long shot.
And he was best. I mean, he's the one who fought the pace wide and really got it done. And Jonathan pointed out, getting back to the sprints, got him back to his best races in here. And even though a lot of seconds held on today, we thought the 5 was going to catch him, though.
Yeah, and you look at the 2 horses, right? The 9 and the 5. They had both been out of the condition, faced winners already. And what do you get? A 7-1 shot over a 20-1 shot. And the 4 actually started rolling late here. And look who runs third. I want to say it was the 3 horse in here. And that's another horse that's actually spoke his maiden for 75, actually ran okay. But 2 horses that ran 1-2 already had races in the condition. You're going to get the giant exacta here.
I mean, Who's in Charge? The 2 did get dead left.
Yeah, he got
was
left.
taken out of his game, but maybe there's a reason he was off 4
Here we go,
Let's
right
go
here.
back to the beginning here.
Oh, he hopped up a little bit, Andy, at the start. And
then he couldn't get to the front, and it's just
the
a tough thing to
came in on
do.
the 3, too. Bourbon, you know what? The 3 actually ran very, very well. The 4 came in on him and got squeezed him out of it, and he come charging for 4th.
And let him play a little bit out of the gate, I guess.
Well, I mean, Gates is hard. Nothing you can do.
Gate. Like, listen, after Bayern, I mean, Gates Gate now. Seriously.
7-1 over 20-1. Rubus Coltonator 1-2 in the 8th at Churchill, 9.53 finish. Brian Hernandez Jr., Phil Bauer, Rigney Racing in the Son of Majestic Warrior takes the 8th from Churchill. Back with prices, set up their 9th, which will be on the turf. When we return on America's Day at the Races, stay tuned.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're always striving for quality, so that's what WinStar is about. You're supported by the stallion owner and the shareholders at WinStar to extend that success into the future. We all know what our expenses are going to be within reason during the year. We don't know what our income is going to be. I know the program's there, and it's definitely on my thought process. It's a very tangible benefit that definitely helps with our bottom line.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Run Happies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by the champion sprinter Run Happy, now standing out of legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne Farm for $25,000. Raced his entire career, medication-free. Set a couple of track records along the way as well, including in the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Keeneland. Continuing along on a gorgeous Friday afternoon here in Elmont, New York. We just had the 8th at Churchill in the books as well, and it was Rubus holding off the long shot, 20-1 Coltonator for the victory. Brian Hernandez Jr. and Phil Bauer.
Brian Hernandez is one of the underrated riders in the game. He's a very solid rider. I think people remember him. He rode Fort Larned 2 years ago, won the Breeders' Cup Classic. And Brian, I think, is a really terrific rider. I'm hoping he rides in Saratoga this summer.
Crazy stat about Fort Larned, he was the son of E. Dubai, and they just shipped E. Dubai because he hadn't had a Classic winner in the United States, and boom, he won the Classic. And there's your exotics right there, Wolfie, 9.5. That exactly comes back $272. Maybe a little unlucky with Bourbon Calling. Look for that horse next time with a better beginning. Nice little trifecta too.
Healthy exotics.
Bourbon is calling. By the way, Bourbon War joining the Belmont field.
Yeah, we'll have more on that a little bit later on in the show. Mark Hennig saying he wants to be part of the Test of the Champion. Let's head back to Jonathan.
Okay, 10 seconds. Yeah, every day here. Phil, yeah, tell me a little bit about, you had to be nervous right here at the 8th pole. The 5-horse Coltonator was running at you a little bit. Were you nervous there, or did you think you had the job done?
I was nervous, especially when they started drifting out in the turn. You know, the 5 had the Golden Rail trip. I thought we might hang a little bit, but coming off some route races, cutting back, we felt like he would be solid today. And, you know, he's always an honest horse, runs his race, and today he was the best horse. So.
You mentioned the cutback. I know the end of last year you had the horse sprinting. Then you tried him a little bit longer. What was in the decision to actually cut him back again? I know you entered him for 7 furlongs. You got him in here for 6. What was the decision behind that?
Well, we felt like we stretched him out to try to utilize his tactical speed, and it just seemed like we were looking for a flat mile, and that heat didn't work well for us with the rail post. So, I mean, he's kind of a horse that likes to have it his way, but you know, the cut back to 3/4 was just kind of going back to the races that he was really good at when he ran some pretty big numbers. So, trained well into it, and we were excited about today.
Do you think there's another stretch out for this one? Do you think you're going to keep him at 6? And what do you think's next for him in terms of distance, but also location for his next race?
You know, I think we can go up to 8 with him. But you know, with the outside post today, we had it our way. We could track the speed and didn't have any pressure on us. But where we go next, I'm not sure. He seems to like Saratoga, but you know, now we're 2 other than conditions, so it could get obviously tougher. So we'll let him cool out and figure out where we go from here. But definitely enjoy this one.
Well, congratulations, Phil Bauer with Rubus.
Jonathan, thanks. All right, so we may see him at the Spa right around the corner.
That'd be
About
cool.
a month and a half
Yeah.
away from opening day, opening a week earlier this year with those 5-day race weeks. 9th at Churchill Downs. We're on the turf at a mile and a 16th. Conditioned $30,000 claiming event. Hope Wins, who was 8-1 morning line for Phil D'Amato, favored right now in that
8-1 morning
ninth.
line, this horse.
Yeah.
It looked like an 8-1 shot to me. Right on top, Greg. Can't fool me. 8-5.
5-9 for Andy Sertling.
Take that, Ed DeRosa.
All right, we'll talk more about that in a bit. 7th at Belmont Park. We're going to have a paddock report right now, in fact. Dr. Hip, 8-5 favorite in this mile and a 16th, non-winners of 2 condition. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And I can't blame the public for making Dr. Hip the favorite here, Greg. He looks sensational as he does return to the main track. And his trainer, Dave Duggan, and I joking because we both thought that he would like the turf. And as he said, it turns out he likes to eat it a lot more than he likes to run on it. So getting back to what has been his proven surface, and as you see, this horse wearing cheek pieces again. Now, cheek pieces are just a piece of kind of flannel or fleece, if you will, that are affixed to the horse's bridle on the outside. They're about 10 inches long, and really they just kind of mimic cheater blinkers. They're used a lot more in England and Ireland. Obviously, Dave, a European himself, so you see trainers from there oftentimes use them more so on their American horses. And like I said, this horse has run on them before. It's no change, but you might notice those big fleece pieces sticking out from his bridle. But like I said, this horse looks great. I like him getting back to the main track after he proved me soundly wrong last time. Now, a horse that is also doing the same thing, but I really didn't think he'd like the turf, and he really didn't. That was number 3 in here, Spectator Sport for Rob Atras. We just haven't seen Midnight Lutes really take to that surface. He's a good-looking horse. I don't always trust Midnight Lutes totally, and we'll see how he does here in this 25 non-2 life, but he makes a lot of sense to me, and he makes a perfect picture here in the paddock, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. Spectator Sport, the 3 right there for Rob Atras. 5-2 on the board. Third choice in this race. 3 horses between 3-2 or 5-2. It's Connections Talk Strategy. We'll have the post parade when we come back here on America's Day at the Races.
This is a colt by Run Happy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Moffra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, stakes winner and graded stakes performer Vanish, and recent stakes winners Taylor Spirit and Tracy Racing. In the ring, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $300,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, post parade, race 7, Belmont. Here is Curlin's New Moon at 5-2, just 1 for 18.
And came up a very good rail last time to run second, but has been running better lately.
Poker Game, 11-1. Had a maiden scored Aqueduct in January.
Well, this one for Mr. Amendola. The sire Flashback, trained by our good colleague Tom Amos, needs to improve today.
5-2. This is who we were talking about in the paddock before we went to break. Spectator Sport, Rob Atras.
Gets back to the right surface. He's a dirt horse. He's one of the 2 favorites claimed from Chad Brown.
And here's the other one, Dr. Hip, who's the 7-5 favorite right now with David Duggan, Jose Ortiz aboard.
At the end of the day, he's just running significantly faster speed figures than the other ones and running against better horses. Takes a big drop here.
But everything is passable.
Yeah, that's the outside horse in here. Jose Lezcano, who's just been on fire for Charlie Baker. And blinkers have significantly helped his son, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he'll need to step it up, though, if he's going to win here. It does come off that win, maybe. Put it all together. We'll see if he takes a move forward. Here's the favorite, though, Dr. Hip. Turf to dirt this afternoon after going in a 50,000 starter allowance 2 back at Aqueduct.
The reality is that he's run against better horses. Horses like Dark and Cloudy, who was trained by Jason Service, Heroes Welcome, who beat him, even wears Rudy in much trouble. They're just better horses than these. And while he didn't run effectively in those races, he still ran speed figures in the low 80s, which are considerably faster than any race that anybody has ever run in here. If he can still run competitively, he is way the horse to beat.
Yeah, you got the 1 in here and you got the 3. Those are the other 2 horses that have run a race that's close to 3 of his races. And 3 of his races beat those 2 races. So he's either had to have taken a giant step backwards on this drop to 25, or the 1 and the 3 of the rest of them don't have much of a shot. Now here is Spectator Sport, and we'll go back to when he ran very well.
3 back for him. This is 3 back.
Yeah,
off
when
the
he
claim.
had put first time off the blinkers, and I would think this the tactics they're going to have to employ: go to the front and try to improve their position.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be probably forwardly placed with Dr. Hip close to him. There's not a lot of speed in this race. And this was not a particularly good. It was another Chad Brown horse he beat in here, Will Dancer, who was the favorite in that race. Obviously improved off the claim for Rob Atras, and frankly, he ran against better horses when he lost to Family Biz in his subsequent start. Turf was the wrong move, but they took an experiment, didn't work, and they're back in the right spot. He's the second likeliest winner, I think. Right? Are you surprised that Spectator Sport is not the second choice, and that the second choice is Curlin's New Moon? Though maybe that will change, but I think that'll change by post time.
18, yeah.
That is not a sterling record at all, but yeah, he's taking a lot of support. Let's go back to Churchill Downs. We get set for race 9 coming up and check in with Jonathan Kinchin again.
Fellas, it's the nightcap here. It's race 9. We're on the turf. We were off the turf yesterday. The rails are down. And one of the things that an angle I like when you're looking at turf racing, when the rail's moving, I'm not crazy about the speed when the rails are out deal, but I do like the idea that horses down on the inside will be running on fresh grass. Nice clear grass, and that's why I landed on the 1 horse, Bella Bella. Bella Bella hasn't ran in a while, a little bit of a break, but has won on this turf course 2 times. These Kentucky turf courses, whether it's here at Churchill Downs or at Keeneland, seem to be very specific to horses. Horses either like it or they don't. The fact that this horse has won twice on this turf course gives me a little bit of confidence leaning on that one. The one's going to go off favorite. I looked at the double Will pays. The 5 is the favorite at the moment. Hope wins for Phil D'Amato. I'm not crazy about the drop on this one. They sprinted the horse. Now they've dropped the horse stretch out. Feels like a negative drop to me. I guess we'll find out in about 15 minutes. And then another horse that always catches my attention is when I see Mike Maker claiming a horse and doing something different with him. It's a Mike Maker thing. This one's going to be going long on the grass. He stretched him out last time on the dirt. Now he's on the grass. She's on the grass, excuse me. I think that she could be extremely live at 9-2 outside draw. We'll see you guys trackside here in a few minutes.
Now, that one that Jonathan was talking about, that's the outside run of the 9 for Mike Maker, the former longtime assistant to D. Wayne Lucas. And she is one of a couple of 3-year-old fillies in here. The other one's Bourbon Endowment, the 3-horse. Don't you think the nature of this condition here, it's horses who've not won 3 lifetime or 3-year-old fillies, at least the 3-year-old fillies haven't been losing
and they have
time after time after time.
Yeah, and you know, the Mike Maker claim angle, I agree very much. You know, is a funny claim and a funny stretch out because horse hasn't shown anything. And sometimes we see a sharp guy like Mike Maker claim him, and they don't look that good on paper. You have to say, he's a smart guy. He wins a lot in these situations. What did he see that I didn't see?
Well, he got an off-the-turf event in Indiana, and he got the money. So he's awarded that he can drop this horse for 30 and get out. So that horse is a dangerous horse on the outside.
And another question, is it a rule that there's at least one horse with bourbon in its name in every race in Kentucky?
It seems that way these days, doesn't it?
A lot of bourbon over there.
Hey, Kentucky, bourbon, horse racing, it all kind of goes together. As we're back here at Belmont for the 7th coming up, let's check in again with Maggie Wolfendale.
Bourbon Lane Stable, you can thank for that one, guys. Is number 1 is Curlin's New Moon. I'm not in this business to pick 1 for 18 horses. And honestly, he, of the 3 favorites, was the one who underwhelmed me in the paddock. Now, he was very quiet there, but once he got out on track, Manny Franco gave him a big warm-up, kind of made him get into the bridle, and he warmed up nicely, don't get me wrong, but still, I'm going to have to go with Dr. Hip here. I know he's your favorite, but he's just looks not so much better physically, but he looks so much better on paper than his closest one physically in number 3, Spectator Sport, who I did not mention does show up wearing front bandages for the first time for the Rob Atras barn, guys.
They don't run them on paper, they run them on TV screens.
True.
We'll see what happens.
Boom, boom. Yeah, I mean, listen. You look at this race and you go, okay, you want to keep trying to beat Dr. Hip, and he makes a great point. There's 3.
It's just too fast for these horses.
There's 3 races on this horse's form that beats everybody in this field by many, and unless he just does not fire at all.
I mean, listen, he may not show up. I mean, that's horse racing can happen, but I'm just, you know, I like anybody, you love to try to beat a favorite.
I get
you
it,
do
yeah.
that because if you think a favorite's vulnerable, that's how you create actual value. You have a horse who's a heavy favorite, and you say you can find some chinks in their armor. What is the chink of his armor more than anybody else in here, right? He didn't like the turf, like the number 3 Spectator Sport. Curlin's New Moon's 1 for 18. I mean, maybe a win today, but he's also on a good rail last time. At the end of the day, Dr. Hip, he's 5 or 6 lengths faster than these horses.
The only horse in this field, too.
3.
What are you talking about?
I thought you were going to say the only horse in this field that could beat the 5. It's got to be the 3, right?
Oh, no, I was going to say
Feel free to finish that thought, Greg. Don't let us
not where I was
interrupt you.
going, but you pick it. That's all right. No, even money now, Doctor. I was just going to say he's the only horse in the field who was a win against Maiden Special when it was an open company Maiden Special.
Too.
Everyone else has won against Maiden Claiming or State-bred Maiden Claiming.
And I think if people saw the PPs of the horses that beat him in his last 2 dirt races and compared them to the horse he's run against here, they'd say, oh, he lost to horses that are really a lot better than these horses. I mean,
but
doesn't mean a win, but...
Yeah, but you're probably right, Paul. If someone is going to beat it, maybe he just doesn't want to pass horses at the wire. We'll see.
We'll see.
But it's that horse, as Paul was alluding to, Spectator Sport, who, if there is an upset here, likely him.
The 3-year-old maybe has some upside.
Yeah, I think we'll be at least in front of the 5, so the 5 will have to pass.
It's going to be pretty close, don't you think?
Even money on Dr. Hip, the 5 horse. It is his race to lose. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
Everything Possible completes the line here, and they're all in line. They're off. Curlin's New Moon. With a sharp start from the inside, Dr. Hip is sent along to grab the lead. Spectator Sport is right behind. And then it's Everything Possible on the outside. Curlin's New Moon had an alert beginning and is back now up into 3rd position, sticking ahead in front of Spectator Sport. The trailer Poker Game is 5 from the front. It is Dr. Hip in front. Everything Possible second on the outside, 23.28. The opening quarter mile, an honest pace, but they're not flying. Curlin's New Moon is 3rd on the inside. Spectator Sport, and going up between those 2 is Poker Game. So up the backstretch, they continue here in pursuit of Dr. Hip and Jose Ortiz, who lead Everything Possible by 3/4 of a length, racing for the far turn. And these 2 are just ahead of Curlin's New Moon, who's down on the inside, running along in 3rd. Poker Game and Spectator Sport trails the field, 46.82 the half. For the front-running favorite, Dr. Hip, who continues the charge around the far turn with a 1.5 lead. Curlin's New Moon slips through on the inside. Spectator Sport comes up there 3 deep as Everything Possible retreats in 4th, and Poker Game trails. It is Dr. Hip, who has run 3/4 in 1:11.64, turning for home with a 2.5 length lead on Curlin's New Moon and Spectator Sport, who are stride for stride, 2nd and 3rd as they arrive at the 8th pole. Jose Ortiz keeping Dr. Hip busy, but they've got a 5-length lead. And Curlin's New Moon continues to battle Spectator Sport for 2nd behind Dr. Hip, who zips under the wire in front by 6. Really tight for 2nd between Curlin's New Moon and Spectator Sport. Poker Game was 4th.
As Larry alluded to, yeah, the race was for second here. There was no doubt about the winner. Dr. Hip, easy time of things here in race 7.
Yeah, the more and more you looked at this race, it just looked like that he was going to be the class of this field. And when Spectator Sport didn't really break grade and didn't challenge him early, the race is just over. It's not happening when you get the mile in 1:36 over this racetrack. And he just hits him one time. You got to give credit to the one in here, Curlin's New Moon. I know this horse is 1 for 18. He's chasing a horse, and he knows he can't catch him, but he's battling his tail off to hold off the 3, and I think he did by about a nostril here, as the 3 ended up going off at 5-2, and your 1 was your second choice. So I think this is ABC here. Even money, 2-1 over 5-2, but Dr. Hip was a gift at even money.
That was dead. You're going to call that?
Yes. 3 ran second. Don't question my eyes, Greg Wolf.
He's got the best in the business. Oh, my. You are never wrong, and now as you get ultra confident, borderline cocky, you're wrong.
There's no way. There's no way.
5-1-3-2 is what's posted.
There's no way. I need another replay. They're going to have to bring up a replay
this
from 1972.
This is a long streak that has come to an end right here.
I need to see that at lower angle again. The 1's in front of the 3. Can we please see that again? I got to see it. I got to see that. Oh, I thought the 3 was on the... I said the 1 on the inside, I meant to say. Yeah, I said the 1 held off the 3.
Oh, don't.
No, that's what I said. Right? I said the 1 held off the 3.
5-1.
I give the 1 credit. Yes. You try to get... Yeah. I was right. I messed myself up.
Okay. 5-1-3-2. Dr. Hip with the win.
I was saying the horse.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus graded stakes winner War of Will, and these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018. This son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there. That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Run Happy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Run Happy is stamping his horses. They all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
He indeed did zip along down the stretch. Dr. Hip with the win. David Duggan, Jose Ortiz looked like he stood over this field by a pole, and he ran like it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, listen, sometimes you just keep looking at it, and you land on the same horse.
And the other thing is that Jose Ortiz understood he was riding the best horse. There wasn't much speed. You put the best horse on the lead, and you just let everything else, the chips fall as they may.
Yeah, the race is over. And Curlin's New Moon really hung in there for a second.
Did he stay with David Duggan?
Well, the last horse got claimed, but that is actually a good question. Cause for applause. The 3 got claimed, Spectator Sport,
but not the winner.
But not the winner.
Yeah. Race 8 moved off the turf. $100,000 allowance optional claiming race in California night. The Speedster outside coming off a win at Belmont at 7/8. Favorite right now. He beat a couple of nice horses in that spot. Backside of the Moon, former winner of the Jazzle, and of course, he just ran third in the Run Happy against Firenze Fire and Bone Raison. We'll get back to this race, though, in a moment. We return to Churchill Downs. Their nightcap is approaching the 2-minute mark. Post, let's go to Jonathan Kinchin.
Listen, fellas, if Paul is allowed to switch his pick on that photo, then I'm going to officially switch my pick from the last race. I picked the 9 Rubus, so 1 win for me and 1 win for Paul. Look, this is a tough race. I want to bet the 1. I'm not crazy about the price at 2-1. I think it's probably going to come down even one more click from that based on what the will pay show. These 30 claiming races are very tough, especially when you have horses coming in off of a long layoff, in which Bella Bella is. I still think she's going to get a great trip down inside on that fresh grass, saving some ground. The rider broke her away from the pony a little bit. She looked like she was warming up well. One of the negatives I see on a horse that's getting bet in here is the 8 Trophy Doll at 5-1. Look, I'm not crazy. You know, the blinkers off. I'm not crazy about the fact that the horse was in for 15 and didn't run well. Then they ran the horse for 20 at a short price and no one claimed. Now they're in for 30. I'm not crazy about that. I'll probably look elsewhere for some prices. The maker horse we mentioned, Korea on the outside, is taking money. This is a tough race, a very tough race. I guess the horse that I'm going to use to try to make this thing pay a little bit better is a 7 Gianna's Gift. Great gate rider in Tyler Bays. I think this horse could be in the mix early and hopefully hold on for a piece. But I'm going to stick confidently to my my top pick, Bella Bella, and it doesn't matter if she doesn't win. I'll just do the old Paulie move and change my pick after the race.
He is all over you.
I didn't change my pick. I just messed it up. I didn't even pick the horse.
You know, can we discuss the number 9 in this race? Is there anything about the number 9 in this race on paper, Korea, other than the claim that says this horse is supposed to be 5-2 in here? Is it me or does it feel like somebody knows something?
It does, doesn't
right?
it?
Well, it was the first time she'd gone long in a long time. They tried to put her on the turf plenty of times.
She's slow.
But her one turf start, she got left. I don't know.
It's not a particularly strong field, obviously, and Bella Bella has some questions coming off that long layoff. But I'll tell you, I think they're betting the 9 like they know. We'll see.
The 4 is a joke of a price at 28-1. The one turf start at Woodbine, I know, was for 15. That's a pretty darn good start, and the horse has got some pretty good turf races to go to. So I can't understand why that horse is almost 30-1.
I mean, and she's been competitive. I know, like, her turf form is not there, but at least she's been competitive against, you know, maiden special as she was trying to cruise along and get that first win of her career.
I'm betting the 9. I'm making a bold switch.
Going with
betting
the
the
public.
9 Korea and boxing with the 5 Hope wins.
Okay.
Calling an audible.
Really?
I gotta do it too. Everybody's calling an audible. It's audible day.
It is audible day.
I thought the 2 was a long shot. Had
I
chance
can see
to
that.
certainly hit the board at 18-1.
Why can't those races? You're right. 84-1, 4th at Ellis Park over the Churchill Downs soft course. What's the matter with that race? That race may win this race. You're right. The 2 has a big shot.
The problem is that the 2 recent races seem a little bit questionable,
Yeah.
right? The back races are maybe one of them's better.
The sneaky horse is going to be the 7
Third off the
because
layoff today.
I know the way Tyler Bays is. He's going to be aggressive, especially
so
on the
it's
turf.
going to be a runoff at times.
Yeah.
But isn't the number 9 horse going to be on the lead? Wouldn't you think that correct?
Hope wins the 5, the favorite. Let's go to Travis Stone, race 9, Churchill.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Pretty good start. Bourbon Endowment toward the inside. Also there's Gianna's Gift, Kyria, and Trophy Doll not far behind either. So bias the first time. Kyria for that outside post goes on with it. Comes on to take over the lead. Clears off to the length and a half and goes over to the inside. Gianna's Gift is forced to switch outside to track the pace from second. Bourbon Endowment broke on top, but is relegated back to be third while saving ground. Trophy Dolls racing in 4th. Bella Bella 5th and covered up inside. Hope Wins is 6th. Northern Fern in 7th, and Tis Taken Back is 8th and last as they gallop to the backstretch run. A composed opening quarter mile in 24-3. And the pacemaker is Kyria by 3/4 of a length. Gianna's Gift sticking right with her down the backstretch run. They go 1, 2, 4.5 furlongs to go. Trophy Doll to their outside, running along in 3rd. Bourbon Endowment unhurried inside while 4th. Tis Taken Back's on the move, very wide from 5th. Bella Bella's in some traffic 6th. Hope Wins is 7th. Northern Fern is 8th. They're on to the far turn. Kyria the leader by 3/4 of a length. Gianna's Gift running along in 2nd. Trophy Doll is 3rd. Tis Taken Back. Wide Trip on the far turn 4th. Bourbon Endowment set to strike in behind 5th. Bella Bella 6th and only 2 lengths off the lead as they come off the turn. Turning for home. Kyria tried to cut the corner to hold on to the lead. Trophy Doll to the attack. Here comes Trophy Doll coming after Kyria. Bella with clear sailing now, up to be 3rd and 1 furlong left. Down inside, Bourbon Endowment, Northern Fern late in the scene. Down to the final 16th, Kyria and Trophy Doll and Kyria. Trophy Doll with the upper hand, close to home, and she's won. Trophy Doll outruns Kyria to the wire. Bella was 3rd, Northern Fern was 4th, and Bourbon Endowment was 5th.
Trophy Doll, Bernie Flint, 2nd off the claim, and Corey Lanery team up.
And first time in the turf since the claim as well. And this is a horse that has back races that are fast enough to win. And Bernie Flint claimed this one for $15,000, pays immediate dividends, gets out instantly. Excellent claim by him, and wears down Korea.
Yeah, she sort of drug him to the lead, did she? This daughter Dream Ahead, and Corey then just started to go to work. They took the blinkers off. That might have helped, because the 9 really fought back, had something left in the lane, Tyler Gaffleon, and these 2 fillies went at it here late, and the H is going to get the best at 6-1, a nice little price to close the card.
Now, the turf is listed firm. They just went 1 mile and 16th and 146 and change. I'm going to say it's not firm.
Yeah, they were kicking up some divots there. Look like my 5-iron.
It's a mile and 1/8 or a mile and 16th?
Yeah, a mile and 16th, yeah.
Yeah, that is a slow time for this race here. Trophy Doll with the win. 2nd win on the turf in 5 tries. And Bernie Flint, well done to claim this one and get her back into the winner's circle with Corey Lanery aboard. And a 6-1 price here if you happen to like Trophy Doll here to close things out at Churchill Downs. We'll have the prices from this race coming up in a moment. That's an easy day for Jonathan Kinchin.
I know, right?
Unless he's taking a jet back to Belmont, going to join us for the last couple races out here. We're going to hear him again on Sunday afternoon, so he's going to stay stationed out there for us. Trophy Doll closes out the card with a victory in the 9th from Churchill. More coming up at Belmont. Welcome to those who have just joined us on Fox Sports 2. Good to be with you here on America's Day at the Races on a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Elmont, New York. You've joined us just in time for the start of our feature race. Here at Belmont, race taken off the turf today. In fact, all the races happen today in New York. This 8th race, even though a compact field, an intriguing one. We have the old veteran Celtic Chaos back in action, a multiple stakes winner here in the New York circuit. Greg Wolf alongside former 4-time Major League All-Star Paul LaDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. And it looks like Celtic Chaos and then California Night, the speedster on the outside. These two, the 2 main players in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Celtic Chaos is kind of the old pro, and is he at the top of his game? His last race, not one of his better efforts, whereas California Night, the outside, is coming off perhaps his best race ever. So it's an interesting matchup, but the good Celtic Chaos, he would be very tough in here.
Yeah, this is a race, you know, with only 4 horses. Celtic Chaos is a horse that probably needs a lot more because, like I always say, he runs his race upside down. He comes from way out of it. And this in California Night's the kind of horse that runs his races from the beginning. He's going to need some help. Celtic Chaos from a couple other horses in here to show some seed. Hit it once more, or the 8 Vici in here. That's it. I mean, because if not, if there's no pace in here, Celtic Chaos and can't pass these horses.
He does get an extra furlong, at least from that last start, but he's never been great at 7/8, has he?
He's a 6 furlong closing sprinter, so he's not a distance factor. It's also interesting, Eric Cancel, who has ridden him very well in the past, is not riding him. I believe Dylan Davis has the mount today.
Yeah, and Dylan Davis used to be on the 4, hit it once more. Jose Ortiz has that mount. What does that do for the 4?
He might be more aggressive, so it might help. Yeah. It might actually help Celtic Chaos.
He beat, this was last summer at Saratoga, Celtic Chaos, the 3. He beat, among others, Weekend Hideaway. That's a horse who's a millionaire, who actually beat Diversify back in 2017 in the commentator. He has some good wins.
You know, it's one of the great things about these New York breds, the ones we see in the stakes. They stick around for such a long time. We see them holding their form, and it's kind of like the New York bred days. It's old friends getting back together, you know. So many good horses.
The one thing that you know that's going to happen in here is that Kendrick Carmouche is going to send hard with the 9. Just the bottom line. He's going to get to the front end and try to wire this field, play catch me if you can. The other horses are going to have to do running. It's the bottom line, and I think everybody knows that, and the public knows that, and that's why the horse is 3-2.
The problem, though, as we take a look at California Knight's last race on May 2nd is you got the money at $15.60 last time. Today, you're talking about a horse that's going to pay around $5. And now, maybe justifiably so because he's in a new and improved horse, but you kind of missed the wedding. Right?
You don't want to be at the funeral,
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I hate betting horses at short prices that are coming off of big wins at big prices.
He beat a good group, though.
Yep.
Mentioned Backside of the Moon. Graded stakes place in his career.
Bon Raison.
Bon Raison, which is third to Firenze Fire in the Run Happy.
Bon Raison probably should have won, to be fair. He did not get a good ride that day. But I'll tell you something, California Knight didn't benefit from some sort of track bias. That track was playing perfectly fairly all day, so it's not like he was riding a gold rail or a big speed track. His last race was very good.
And it was a win at this distance of 7/8 as well. Let's take a look at the NYRA Bets late pick 5 follow along, 44,000 plus in the pool.
You're live, Andy?
I'm alive. I don't want you guys to get too excited. I can't give
1
out
to
the,
2.
I can't get out the secrets of my handicap.
2 to 1 and even money.
And I even picked 2 of those on top. The ones that didn't pay $6.
There's a long way to go. 2 legs remain. Let's head downstairs. Paddock Report with Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, I think the question you have to ask here in this 8th race is, do you want the old class horse or do you want the now horse? As it looks like a good matchup between Celtic Chaos and California Knight in here. We'll start off by talking about the venerable and deep closing New York bred in number 3, Celtic Chaos, who will occupy that inside stall. Now, his last race came off a bit of a layoff on a wet track. And while that wet track record indicates that he has liked it in the past, you look at his last couple wet track races and they're a bit subpar. And a lot of times you just get these older horses that decide, hey, I don't really like running on this, so they just kind of go through the motions. Now he gets a fast track here for second off the bench, and I think he looks fantastic here. I mean, as a 6-year-old, he's really bulked up. I mean, he's just carrying great muscle mass overall. I like what I'm seeing from him, and he does get a rider change. I know him and Eric Kunsell go way back, and they've had a lot of success together, but sometimes a different jockey, the first impression's a good one, and we'll see how Dylan Davis and Celtic Chaos get along today. Now, the speedster from the outside is the one coming off of a big performance last time out in number 9, California Knight. 7 furlongs, as you can plainly see, is the ideal distance for this horse, who is a big, long-legged type. So you would think that more ground's better, but he's so fast that the 7 furlongs, it just lets him get into that rhythm, that high cruising speed, and he just gets comfortable out there. And it looks as though that last race has made him fairly confident. He walked into this paddock with some swagger today. He looks sensational, as he did last time. So we'll see if he can keep things rolling here for the Mike Maker barn. Guys.
Well, he's won 3 of his last 4. Thank you, Maggie. Talking about the 9, California Knight. And he is the 3-2 favorite right now. As you look at prices from Churchill Downs, it was Trophy Doll taking their nightcap with Corey Lannery aboard for trainer Bernie Flint and owned by LTB Incorporated. And Miles Childers, no Churchill Saturday. They're back with us, however, on Sunday afternoon on the show. We're going to step aside for a short timeout. We'll be back with more ahead. Dylan Davis, that was a quick look at him. He'll be the pilot aboard Celtic Chaos. Little camera chaos. We'll be back with a post parade right after this.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf. including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior, stakes performers Scrapper and Malocchio, and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. In the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have fetched prices up to $1.25 million and multiple yearlings up to $1 million. Classic winner, classic pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and other regional networks across the country. Brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We have a post parade coming up for race 8. And even though it's just 4 runners in this group, this is an intriguing field, including this guy right here, the 6-year-old Celtic Chaos, multiple stakes winner on the New York State Bred Circuit.
And a new rider in Dylan Davis. After Eric Cancel has ridden him most of the time, he has got to get some pace to close into. We'll see.
Hit It Once More, owned by Gary Siaka and Jose Ortiz aboard.
Maybe he's the horse that can challenge the 9 early. He's got some good internal fractions, but California Knight's beaten him before.
Vici, he went gate to wire last time out. He was claimed out of that race off of Mike Maker, now with David Donk.
Another horse that Celtic Chaos is hoping that can go with California Knight early.
And California Knight, the speedster on the outside, he's won 3 of his last 4.
And he is in very good form, and he may be the speed of the speed.
Get signed up, started. You can bet this race along with all the racing action that we show you every day on the show with NYRA Bets. Bet $200, you'll get $200 new member bonus in your account with the promo code LIVE at sign up at any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRABets.com. Standing by with the trainer of Vici. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Yeah, here with Dave Donk, who is surveying the opposition as he'll send off Vici. First off, the claim here, Dave. Last time out, off the turf event, again, going the 7 furlongs, just nailed by a very talented horse and expert. I don't think you're going to get the lead here, but do you have different plans?
Listen, Kendrick's on the outside. If he couldn't get the lead, he's going to get the lead. So, I'm expecting that he'll go to the lead. You know, I'm not sure if Jose can keep him company or, you know, I'm going to have to be the one to be sitting right there. So I'll leave that up to Irad. We'll see what happens.
What you've seen from this horse, at least I know it's tough to tell in training and everything like that. Is it a matter of him needing the lead, or is it a matter of getting kickback that he doesn't like to run past horses on the main track?
Well, really, even sheet-wise, his better races are on the dirt. So I'm happy to run him on the dirt today. It was a very tough race on the grass. Obviously, when you claim one, you're usually on the raise the next time. So it was a very contentious race the way it was ridden. I don't think he has to have the lead. In all of his races, he did. And I think last time he did, circumstances, and it was kind enough. So, but today he's not going to get that scenario.
All right, Dave. Well, will we see him on the turf in his next start possibly, though?
Yeah, I think it depends how they're written and the distances. You know, I look at him as a 3/4 horse more on the grass. You know, today was 7/8, so it came up pretty salty. You know, it was written with a clause, which haven't won, I think, since December 21st. So it really widens the condition instead of just being a straight 3 other than or optional claimer. So we'll see. We'll see how he does today, and we'll go from there.
All right, Dave. Well, best of luck with Vici.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll see if the new acquisition can make its way to the winner's circle. Guys?
Well, there he is. So he's 2-1 on the board. I mean, the horse who came and got him late, that's a horse who, at that point, that was his 4th win in a row. Expert. He was on quite a roll.
And he ran very well to finish second his next start. The only thing that I will say is this was a day, April 27th, the second day of the meet, where inside speed was good. Now, he's a little bit off the rail here, but he does sort of drift over. And Expert was out in the 5 path the entire way. Now, Expert's very good, so even if he was 3-4 lengths better than him, I don't think that says Vici didn't run well. But I think Vici was with the track. But, you know, it's just a different circumstance because can he beat a field like this without controlling on the front end? I think that's the real question.
I like how he stuck out his neck there at the end. He wasn't really giving it up. He just got beat by a better horse. And you look at his PPs, he's passed horses one time. That was that on the grass from the 12 hole. But other than that,
I've never looked up his other dirt races, so I don't know because he does have a one. Was he in front that race or did he close? I just don't know.
That's the thing, and I don't know if he can get in front of the 9. So is Irad going to push from the go?
Irad's not setting against the 9. It's not his style.
Kendrick's going to be in front here. Even David Donk alluded to the fact that he knows this horse is quicker.
I'll be honest with you, and I don't know if he's necessarily quick enough, but if a horse is aggressive, I think it's more likely to be Hit It Once More,
of course,
who is a confirmed speed horse, usually going longer, but he's been involved in some quick paces. And Jose Ortiz is a more aggressive rider than his brother in general.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, and what do you do if you're the other 2 rider? We know Celtic Chaos is going to be nowhere near the front.
Well,
but
Celtic
if you're the
Chaos,
other 2 riders here, you cannot let this horse get loose and be gone, right?
Celtic Chaos can't do anything.
Routier.
He has to.
No, I'm talking about the other 2 horses.
I mean, I'm not. I think you'll see Jose be aggressive somewhat. Jose Ortiz on Hit It Once More, and if Kendrick really wants to send, you let him go. They're not going to get into a blistering speed duel with him. You have to sort of. It's like Richie always says: you get your position going forward. At the least you do is force Kendrick to have to use his horse enough to clear you, but you don't want to just take back at the start and just concede the lead to him. Then you've effectively conceded the race to him.
So can Hit It Once More at least maintain contact, and for that matter, Vici, and not let the 9 get completely gone and loose and hand him the race. Here's Hit It Once More, Jose Ortiz, and yet going longer has always been close.
Here's a question for you. If you had to guess, who do you think has won, don't look, who do you think's won the most money in this race?
He has.
He's won more money than Celtic Chaos.
Really?
Yeah, I was very surprised. He's won over $600,000. He had a big win. I want to say maybe at Finger Lakes at some point he won a big race, but he's been a good performer in his career, but usually at route races where he can control on the front end.
I could be wrong. I think he used to be with August Dawn Farm.
I believe he originally was. August Dawn, of course, as you're alluding, is
Bill Parcells. Yeah. A runner over the weekend that we're going to be hearing more about here.
The last time him and California Knight faced off, he stumbled at the start or bobbled at the start, and he was just right behind him going a blistering
pace.
He
didn't run badly.
He did not run bad. So the 4, if he can break and go with the 9, then the 3 is a major player. But if nobody else can, it's going to be tough to catch.
I'll be honest, and you know, the 2 favorites are the right 2 horses, obviously with the closer with Celtic Chaos and California Knight. But if somebody said you've got to take a horse besides them, I would prefer Hit It Once More to Vici.
I'm with you there.
Let's check in with Maggie again.
And guys, when we see these short horse fields, a lot of times it does turn into a rider race, and you would have to think that the guy on the outside probably does have a one-track mind when it comes to this race, and that is Kendrick Carmouche aboard California Knight, and that is get him to the lead. Now, I know I have been a bit of a chalk-eating weasel here on the program, but at least the last 2 favorites have won that I picked. Again, though, California Knight sealed the deal out on the racetrack for me. He warmed up so well. God, Kendrick had him nicely on the bridle. He was framed up. He was reaching underneath of himself. All the mechanics of this horse are just really firing on all cylinders. And I think he rides into this race on that win, and he'll exit this race with another win, guys.
Well, he's on a roll. He's won 3 of his last 4. He won here at Belmont at this distance against a strong field last time out. Now, as you mentioned, Andy, got a little lucky to win that race too. Bon Raison.
Did not
likely.
Could
have won that race.
Bonner's not got a dreadful ride in that race and was taken way out of it. But still, he still ran a 98 Beyer.
Yeah.
You know, he really ran that day. He was going to 7 furlongs.
And, I mean, Celtic Chaos is not the horse he used to be. He's still very good. He proved he's good. And Holly Hughes, a couple starts back, even though he didn't win that race, he ran decent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe you want to be kind and say, well, he was coming off a 2.5 month layoff. Maybe he needed a race. I'm not, you know, there's a ways to look at it. And the other thing is that Celtic Chaos is not favored. If Celtic Chaos was favored, then maybe you want to knock him, but he's not the favorite in here. I picked him on top. I'm hoping he can get to go because I just don't want to take a super short price on California Knight after he won last time at 6-1. That was the day to have him. Not that he has endorsed me. He is on my pick 5 ticket, though.
Sometimes you got to take what the racetrack gives you, and it looks like it sets up perfectly for him in the spot. We'll see. Can the 4 or the 8 put any pressure on California Knight, who's likely to be out in front with Kendrick Carmouche? Let's go upstairs. Larry Colmus with the call. 8th from Belmont Park here on America's Day at the Races.
They're all in line. They're off. Vici goes out to the front. California Knight, not the best of beginnings, but he goes up alongside of Vici, and the two of them will kick on and open up by 4 on Hit It Once More, and Celtic Chaos to his inside. Up the backstretch, and now California Knight to the front and getting away from Vici to lead by a length and 3/4. Irad Ortiz will let him go and sit second on Vici. It's a gap of another 4.5 lengths to Celtic Chaos and Hit It Once More, right together through a 22.32 quarters. So the pace is honest here. There's a half mile to go, and California Knight leads by a length and 3/4. Vici continues to pursue from second, edging up a bit closer now. They're 5 lengths ahead of Celtic Chaos and Hit It Once More, who've been eyeballing each other throughout so far. 44.89 was the half. As California Knight is set down coming to the quarter pole, and Vici runs right by him. Vici on the outside to the front. California Knight has to dig deep. Celtic Chaos gets going. He swings up on the outside, 3 lengths behind Vici, but closing in with 1 furlong to run. Irad Ortiz shaking up Vici, Dylan Davis, and Celtic Chaos under a full head of steam. Rolls on by at the 16th pole. A 4-win day for Dylan Davis, and Celtic Chaos looking good. Won it by 3 over Vici. California Knight held third.
Yes, indeed. A 4-bagger for Dylan Davis, and Celtic Chaos, he's just fun to watch.
And he rode him just like Eric Cancel rode him. He stuck to the rail, he kept him there, and then he angled him out into the clear. And I think Vici ran very well off the claim for David Donk, because Irad made California Knight use his speed early, and then he came and got him, but there just wasn't enough left to hold off Celtic Chaos, who ran his race today, Paul.
No, he did. He really did. And you got to give credit to Vici. He stuck it to the favorite, the 9, went on with it. He won the battle, he just didn't win the war, and he lost to a gutty horse that just likes to win races. And take nothing away from Vici. I thought he ran a bang-up race. 121 and 3.
California Knight, he was just a little sluggish out of the
He
gate,
didn't,
wasn't he?
and Larry commented on it. Larry said it right away. He didn't break that sharply, and you could see that Irad was right on top, because Irad came out. If we show the start, the pan of the start, you'll see that Irad is pushing coming out of the gate, and he took advantage of the fact that California Knight, and then when California Knight, when California Knight came to him, he had to use him. He had to use him, Kendrick, to get there, and you could see on the turn the California Knight was not winning this race.
Let's go back to the beginning. Outside post 9, he's usually so sharp out of the gate, and you see Kendrick having to work.
And Irad saw that Kendrick didn't break sharply, right? And he said, I'm going to go. And in that way, it's not that he was saying, I'm going to center the front, but if Kendrick wants to get the lead, he's going to have to use his horse to get there. And now I can sort of ease back, and then I can get him on the turn. It all worked perfectly for Irad. He just wasn't going to be able to hold off Celtic Chaos. But Irad Ortiz gave his horse his best chance to win.
100%.
That's all you can ask from a rider.
That's the little strategy going on in this small race.
No, it is.
Riders race, and Celtic Chaos collects the 8th victory of his career.
That's a big win for him, because he loves Saratoga, and he's going to give a nice little boost to him, and he likes rain, too.
Well, half of his lifetime wins have come at Belmont, and he's now the leading money winner in this field. He's passed. Hit it once more.
Had been Hit It Once More. Back with prices from the 8th at Belmont. We still have the nightcap to come. 4-win day for Dylan Davis. We've got a new face showing up as well in the 3rd and final leg of the Triple Crown. Will that mean a better performance from Bourbon War? We'll talk about that when we return.
What could be better than standing 1 Triple Crown winner? Standing 2.
Here comes American Pharoah. Justified turning for home in front. And American Pharoah has pulled. Justified. He's unstoppable. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharoah. Justified has won the Triple Crown.
Coolmore, America, home of Triple Crown champions. For a commercial farm like us in Frankfurt Park, you have to get value for money. Uvetzi won a grade 3 in California.
Big performance by Uvetzi.
And then we bred Take Charge Paula.
Take Charge Paula with the win.
When we can get some of these WinStar dollars, as far as we're concerned, it's the same as real money because we're just putting it back in again there for the coming year. Over the next couple of years, I think it's going to become even more important.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Well, our feature in the books, it was the venerable New York bred Celtic Chaos, taking advantage of some hot fractions up front to get the win for Brad Cox. And this guy right here, Dylan Davis, his 4th win of the day. Dylan, congratulations, big day.
Thank you, Maggie. Well, first off, I just want to start with my agent here, Mike Migliori. We're a great team, and we're doing great. We just keep on pushing, and all the connections, the horsemen, the grooms, everyone, owners, you know, to get me here, and 4 winners is a great day. With Celtic, well, you know, it scratched down to 4 horses, 3 horses to beat. All 3 of them were good speed. Track was playing speed today. I was a little bit worried about that. Did a lot of homework on him and how he's ridden and what needs to be done. I think the 7 furlongs really helped him today. Just hustled him out of the gate. He got onto the bridle pretty quickly at the 5/8 pole. Carrying me through the turn, happy with what I saw up front, and at the quarter pole, I just wanted to give him a clear chip, and he did great today.
He really did, and you got along with him quite well. Also today, you had a nice 2-year-old debut winner. Mission Wrap It Up for Bruce Brown. How'd you been on that horse in the morning?
I worked him one time in the morning here with on the main track. Worked exceptional, you know. I thought he might needed a race. Bruce, we talked about it. Well, you know, you never know. When the doors open up, he opened his eyes a little bit. Just like a first-timer, get him out strong, put him in position, and if you can get the job done, he got the job done, and he ran on. And it feels like he can improve more. He was a little spotty there down the lane, and he galloped out strong. I'm excited to see what comes with him.
All right, Dylan. Well, we know what comes with Celtic Chaos. A win here today. Congrats.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you.
All right, good to see the New York bred back in the winner's circle, guys.
4-win day for Dylan Davis. He'll have a chance for 5 coming up in the nightcap. And that first timer that Maggie was talking about, that was back in race 2 at Belmont today. Mission Wrap It Up, debuter for Bruce Brown, won impressively.
Very impressively. 57 and change, and absolutely buried the field. And I'm on Dylan in this race. I like Indian Guide.
Let's take a look at the Naira Bats late pick 5 follow along. Andy, are you still alive?
I'm still alive.
You are.
I know there were some anxious moments,
but I'm still alive. Today. All chalk.
I can even get my money back with a couple of horses. So
yeah, it's one of those days. We'll see what happens. Dylan Davis chance again to get his 5th. He'll be on the 3 Indian Guide in this spot. It's 4-1 right now.
I like Indian Guide. I think he's going to get some pace to run at. And I disagree with Dylan. I don't think it's a speed track. I think we've just seen some logical results.
Well, if it's not, that'd be a good thing for Dylan because Indian Guide has virtually no speed.
And he'll be fine, just like Celtic Chaos.
Yeah.
And he'll be fine.
All right, we'll talk more about the 9th coming up. Race that was scheduled for the turf. It's come off. It's a $25,000 claiming race. We told you going to break. Another horse from the Preakness decided to show up for the test of the champion, and that will be Bourbon War for trainer Mark Hennig. Disappointed in the Preakness, and maybe we'll get a better effort going 1.5 miles here at Elmont, New York.
But you know what? Mark Hennig understands, like unfortunately a lot of other trainers don't seem to, that this is one of the most important races run for 3-year-olds every year. It's a winnable race, and he's going to take a shot. And sometimes it's more important to take a shot and lose than to not take a shot at all.
Mike Smith will be aboard.
Yeah, and he'll get plenty of money, and Mike will probably let him roll a little bit. And I would think he'll be a bit more forwardly placed. And Andy's right. When you look at this field, it's War of Will, it's Tacitus, and then it's everybody else. So why not? Third or fourth place is still okay if he was able to run that. And we've seen horses here with some early tactical speed be very dangerous.
Beware the stablemate. Mark Casse, not only with the Preakness winner, he's going to send Sir Winston as well to the Belmont Stakes, who's coming off his second in the Peter Pan.
Well, you know, like Bourbon War, he'll be trying to make a run towards the end. Maybe the mile and a half will work. He's the kind of horse, Sir Winston, everybody's going to see the Peter Pan and say, did you see how he was flying at the end of 9 furlongs? Wait till he gets 12. They don't usually pan out, but the way the Mark Casse horses are running, I won't put it past him.
I have a feeling he's going to like the 12 furlongs. Andy, I just don't know if he's good enough. We'll see.
I don't either. I don't know if he is either. But you know what, Mark, once again, listen, I find as time goes on, I find myself rooting more and more for Mark Casse's horses, whether I even like them or not. And I'm not going to bet on War of Will in the Belmont, but I'm rooting for him because Mark dances the dances. His horses show up.
America's Best Racing asking, who do you think can beat the Preakness champion War of Will in the Belmont Stakes? Tacitus, Tax, Everfast, or nobody?
So has anybody gotten 1% of the vote, or did Tacitus get actually 100% of the vote?
When do we get these results?
I don't know. It's been 2 days.
Longest running
I
poll.
had a poll where I said, who do you think in any of these horses beat Tacitus and War of Will? And they said no.
It's all right. America's Best Racing wanted to give it to the Preakness champ. That's fine. Registration for the Belmont Stakes Challenge. It ends next Wednesday. You can register to play now in New York's biggest handicapping contest of the year. $60,000 guaranteed first place prize. $10,000 buy-in. Go to NYRA.com/challenge to sign up.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Run Happies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up at NYRABets.com for a new member bonus.
They're into the stretch, and Analyze It comes up to the neck of Catholic Boy and goes on by. Analyze It has taken the lead in mid-stretch here. Catholic Boy trying to hold second position on the inside, had to steady there, and it's a long way back to Untamed Domain in third. Analyze It comes down to the 16th pole. Catholic Boy comes at him on the outside. Catholic Boy's gonna beat him. Catholic Boy came up on the outside of Analyze It and ran him down to win the Pennine Ridge.
One of the most incredible comebacks you will see. I still don't understand how Catholic Boy got past, routed to the outside, came back and won this race. Incredible.
No, I agree. These two put on shows in both the Pennine Ridge and the Belmont Derby last year. We will be lucky to get these kind of exciting races this year.
Yeah, I mean, both quality horses. We know how good Catholic Boy is. We forget how good Analyze It is. So that was tremendous. I still couldn't believe my eyes that day. I still can't believe I saw it again.
Was it a bad beat for you, Greg?
Don't start.
It was a very bad beat. And Catholic Boy did it to him again in the Belmont Derby. And, of course, we have the Turf Trinity this year. Chad Brown's 2 runners in the Pennine Ridge. Value Proposition, Der Marchelier. They're both pointing to that Turf Trinity, at least the first leg of it, July the 6th, that Belmont Derby. It also includes the Saratoga Derby in August and the Jockey Club Derby in September.
Value Proposition was an extremely impressive victor in his maiden race. He's going to be very tough and drew the rail. And it's interesting, you've got Chad Brown with 2. You've got Todd Pletcher with 2, and of course you've got Bill Mott with Seismic Wave as well. And I think Bill will hope the turf is firmed up for tomorrow's race.
I like this race by Value Proposition because when he got to the front end, it's tough to keep on going, and when the other horse is right on your flank, and you know someone's coming out, and he just put that horse away like nothing right there. And
he ducks in a little bit. He's a little green. You're going to see him in the late stages. He sort of lunges over the rail. No, right in there, he goes over.
Still learning.
This horse is one of the horses that was bought over at Tattersales, and we've seen those horses newspaper record as well as Digital Age.
So scary to think
he's looking at
he's going to improve and get better off that. I mean, he demolished that field. Of course, Chad Brown with DeMarshall Yeh as well. Meanwhile, Clint Maroon, he's reeled off 3 consecutive victories on the turf, and this will be on the inner turf on Saturday. That might help his speed.
You know, but isn't the other Todd Pledge horse, Social Paranoia, isn't he a faster horse early? I mean, I just think he may have a little more speed. It'll be interesting to see how Todd runs his horses, because he does have more speed potentially than Chad Brown's 2 runners, which could give him a real tactical edge.
I like the way he finished this race, though, so I don't know if he needs the lead, but he was striding out nicely in that race, wasn't he?
He was indeed. Victory in the Woodhaven. That was on a yielding turf course. 3 in a row for Clint Maroon.
Nothing better than that good-looking gray, no?
He looks really nice. Look how happy he looks.
Looks like George Clooney already.
Take a chance. Did you say he looks like George Clooney?
I didn't even want to touch that one,
Take
Greg.
a chance on the Pennine Ridge at Belmont with a second chance cash back on NYRA Bets. Bet 20 to win on the NYRA Bets app on one horse in the stakes race, the Pennine Ridge. And if you finish second, you get your $20 back in your account. Go to NYRA.com for details and download the NYRA Bets app to place your win bets. It is part of a cross-country Pick 5 on Saturday. Begins at 5:18 Eastern with the Pennine Ridge. We'll kick it off then at Penn National. The Susquehanna, Pennsylvania Governor's Cup from Penn National. The Penn Oaks, which we're going to see some horses pointing to that Turf Trinity as well, including we were talking about August Dawn Farm. They're going to have 40 under. They'll campaign in that race for Jeremiah Engelhart.
And he was second to Clint Maroon his last race. His debut as a 3-year-old. Of course, he won our Pilgrim last year before running in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. It's a nice horse, but he's going to have his hands full with Kieran McLaughlin's horse in this
Thread
race.
of Blue is going to be awfully tough in that spot, the speedster, but 40 under. Looking for his 3rd win on turf. One of 2 horses in this race who competed in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf.
Yeah, and listen, he is a type of horse that Manuel Franklin probably needed that last start, and was a little bit 6-5 last time out, and I think it's going to be a lot tougher today or next time. 7-2, I think you'll get every bit of that 7-2.
I agree. I agree. I don't think you'll get any bit of 5-2 on Thread of Blue. He'll be 6-5.
No, they're looking. They're pointing to that Turf Trinity as well, but they want to get that horse to the Breeders' Cup Turf at the end of the year. That's how highly they think of a Thread of Blue.
Yeah, he's going to be a heavy favorite in that race. Heavy favorite.
So that's coming up tomorrow. It's going to be an important day in terms of who's going to show up for that Belmont Derby on July 6th. We could see quite a few runners from both these races show up.
And elsewhere, hopefully some Europeans will come over. It's a big purse, over $1 million.
Grade 1 as well. We still have the nightcap coming up here on this Friday afternoon here in Elmont, New York. Race taken off the turf. And 3-2 favorite, We Should Talk. Jorge Abreu, Irad Ortiz Jr. won on a sloppy track back on December 28th at Aqueduct.
Yeah, I don't know, 3-2. I mean, he's got some good dirt races, but keep in mind, he was in Gary Gullo's barn, and Gary Gullo, in my opinion, is as good a claiming trainer, good at trainers we really have on the grounds. They loved him last time on his turf race off the claim for Michael Dubb and these connections, and he did not run a step. I liked him last time, but not at 2-1. We'll see. I think he's a highly dubious favorite.
I was looking at the Will Pays, and even with a lot of chalk, let's see, what are the
They're still not very good.
You need the 9. The 12's not bad. You can get the 12 home at 5-1. Not a bad.
Good luck.
130.
Maggie's waiting for us. I see her. Let's get a paddock report from Maggie now.
Ooh, you caught me looking back at you guys as we'll check in with number 5, Royal Asset. Now, truth be told, a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for Royal Asset. My husband had him in the barn last summer, and boy, was he mean to all the adults, but he was so kind with my daughter Grace, as I got a cute snap of her and Royal Asset at the barn at Saratoga. So yes, he will hold a little special piece of my heart forever, but his recent form leaves a little to be desired. He's lost his speed. You know, the other thing too is that in his last couple races, he was getting really washed out pre-race. His coat hadn't turned from the wintertime. It was really long and drab and dull. But today, now while he gets the needed class relief too, his coat's finally turned. He has not gotten hot at all. And I like what I'm seeing from Royal Asset. Now, I don't know if he'll have the speed that he once had. I can't tell that here in the paddock. But then again, I don't think it would hurt if he's not that quick out of there, because there's some other horses that just appear to be a lot quicker than he. So if he could track, he might be in the right kind of spot here today for Rudy Rodriguez. Number 4, We Should Talk about being in the right spot. This guy looks to sit the right kind of trip with the speed out in front of him. He is extremely fit. Almost bordering on being too lean from my liking, but he is kind of that horse. He's a bit of an awkward frame type of horse, so a lot of times he doesn't carry his weight as you would normally perceive a horse to. So I like the fact that he has that tightener under his belt on the turf, and like I said, we'll see if things shape up for him, as I think that's what the public is seeing obviously right now. Number 3, Indian Guide. I thought, what's wrong with this horse? I mean, he's run some numbers as of late that fit well with the rest of his company here. He's another one that can close into a pace. He looks fantastic here for Bruce Levine, excuse me. I like what I'm seeing from Indian Guide guys. A lot of G's there.
I'm just not sure if you have the right jockey aboard.
Yeah.
Dylan Davis, he's already won 4 today.
Indian Guide's a horse whose races lately, too, are better than they look on paper. He was forced to chase outside against a very strong rail last time in horse Candy Promises, who ran off the screen and ran big in a subsequent start. And the time before that, he really had no pace whatsoever to close in, and as Maggie just said, and I agree, there figures to be more pace today.
Here's the hot young rider. Having a tremendous Friday afternoon. Dylan Davis just left our screen as we get a look at Manny Franco. He'll be on Royal Asset, who is good friends with Maggie's daughter, Grace, apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Manny's going to pick it up. Manny's had a slow start. He has had a slow start after having a superb Aqueduct. And it's interesting, looking at the leading riders, all 4 of the leading riders going this week at Belmont were guys who rode at Aqueduct over the winter. And none of them were Manny Franco. That's the most incredible thing.
Jose Lizcano, Kendrick Carmouche.
Dylan Davis and Junior Alvarado. See how much they can hold it. Jose, oh, geez. Jose Lizcano.
Tremendous meet.
He's having a great year and a great meet. But you know what? Dylan, with his win today, he's catching those guys.
Yeah. Get signed up, get started. You can play this race and all the races we bring you each and every day. Bet $200. You'll get a $200 new member bonus when you use the promo code LIVE at sign up. You'll be able to bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRABets.com. Here comes our post parade. We'll start with Indian Guide and the hottest rider on the grounds right now, at least this afternoon, 4 today for Dylan Davis.
As I said before, I'm hoping he gets the right kind of trip after having against it trips, and he's been running fast enough to be competitive anyway.
We Should Talk, the 4-horse, is the favorite right now. It's 7-5 on the board. 2 back was a winner on a sloppy track at Aqueduct.
And second time off the claim, maybe getting played here with Irad Ortiz Jr., excuse me.
Royal Asset, who Maggie was talking about in her paddock reports, used to be very, very quick.
And if you like him, you have to be heartened by what Maggie said, because she feels he's looking much sharper and his form had dulled. So it'll be very interesting to see.
Here's the 9, Adulation. 3-time winner, Sam Camacho Jr. rides.
He is one of the 2 that will knock me out of the pick 5 for good reason.
Main track only entrant, Malibu Action for John Toscano Jr.
Comes back in just 7 days after getting a vicious speed duel with heavy favorite Candy Promises. Be able to do a more stalking trip here, which maybe suit him better.
And should be the speed of the speed outside, the final crazy dude.
Yeah, the son of Bluegrass Cat. Look for Benjamin Hernandez to push the button early and try to take this field wire to wire.
7 minutes of post. Race 9 to close out our Belmont program on this Friday afternoon. The New York bred racing program, it is the most lucrative state bred program in the entire country. $45 million set aside for those state bred races. A new face at stud. Help you take advantage of all that purse money is Central Banker. Tracy Egan has more on a new face at stud.
This very well-balanced son of Speightstown already has more than 20 winners in 2019. And as of Kentucky Derby week that year, Central Banker was number 3 on the worldwide second crop sire list.
We've had, several maiden special weight winners subsequently. But, it's a great group of horses in the second crop sire list, and Central Banker is certainly one of them.
It's going to be Nico's Dream from well off the pace to win it.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
If you think all the Central Banker winners look alike, well, it's the same way with his foals back on the farm.
They're very correct. They're very medium-sized, very good conformation hind leg. They also are very well-mannered foals and yearlings.
With consistent foals and winners, Central Banker is expected to cover 134 mares in the 2019 breeding season.
Trivia question for you.
Okay.
And you've talked about him recently. Who was the trainer of the first Central Banker to win?
Bruce Brown.
Paul?
Pat Kelly.
Nice guess. Mark Cassie.
Close.
Subsidiary, yeah. Top 5 first crop sire. Horse who, of course, was just a half length away from winning the Grade 1 Malibu. Recorded 3 triple-digit buyers in his day.
I'm still stinging from that beat in the Malibu. Thought he moved a little too soon in there. Al Stahl trained him, did a fine job with him. He had a lot of physical issues, which kept him from having his best chance, but he was good. I mean, he came back and he avenged that loss in the Malibu to shake it up with a stirring victory in the Churchill Downs. So,
and he's off to a solid
Tremendous.
start at stud as we look at Indian Guide. Can Dylan Davis bring home number 5 on this Friday afternoon?
I believe he can. I think Indian Guide's a very interesting horse in here. He's got figures that are fast enough to be competitive, and he's finally going to get some pace to run at. So today, at least, he should get his fairest chance.
5-1 on the board for Flying P Stable. We should talk.
He's 8-5, 3-2. What about his PPs say he's supposed to be an overwhelming
Let me ask you about
here?
that last race. So you see a state bred allowance optional 40. How does that compare to this 25 open off the turf?
Well, that was a turf race. This is actually a more competitive field. He was dreadful last time. I'll be honest with you. And I liked him last time and bet him. And I remember I was on the air and saying, why is he taking so much money? And even Michael Dubb, who owns him, he said to me, I'm shocked he's getting bet like this too. And he didn't really run that well. And not that we didn't think he could win, just that he took so much action. And he's taking a ton of action again today. What is his, look at his overall record and tell me what makes him more likely to win this race than Indian Guide.
I don't know, but he looked like he was home and cooled out here.
This is what? No, this is when he won. No, this is his win, like, 2 races back.
But that was a struggle to get by.
It's also a sloppy seal track that day. Claim from Gary Gullo. Not too many in the game sharper than Gary Gullo, and improving him's not going to be up. Listen, I'm not going to be shocked if he wins. I picked him second, but I would never in a million years bet him at anything close to this current 8-5. I think he's a dramatic underlay.
Yeah, short numbers. We look outside to Malibu action. This is the main track only runner. Back on March 30th, Kelly Kipp looked like he was going to get home in that race, and then he got caught late by a next out winner.
But yeah, H-Man who beat him is in raging form for Jason Service. It was no embarrassment to lose to him. I thought he ran great in this race. He runs back to a race like this. Why is he a bigger price than the 4?
The problem is his next 2 races, right?
Well,
what
yeah,
happened to that form?
I agree, and he got in his big speed duel last time, but I agree, and he was bad 2 back, and then he was claimed, and he got in that speed duel. I agree. I don't love his recent form, and that's one of the reasons I'm trying to beat him.
Luis Saez will be aboard. And, he's tactical, too. He's going to be close.
What does the pick 5's paying?
Gotta be. And then there's the Final Crazy Dude. But the Final Crazy Dude is a one-way, need-to-lead speed horse.
Can he get to the front end?
Claimed against, these are much better horses than who he was running against. These are non-winners of 3 lifetimes than last time. The other thing, if Maggie's correct, and obviously we all have the highest respect for her opinion, and she's right that Royal Posse is going to get back to his better form, he's going to be forward in this race. And he's a better horse than the Final Crazy Dude. So the Final Crazy Dude's likely to be in a situation dealing with another speed type which is better than him. So what scenario is going to jump up that he's going to win this race?
Sure.
Other than horses just getting left in the gate, but you can't bet for that reason.
No, you can't bet for that reason. As you see our check marks there, who we like, and
who do you think goes with him, Andy?
Well, I'm saying that if Maggie's right about Royal Asset, and he's, looking. She said he was looking good in the paddock, and she thinks he's, got back and forth, was much better than he had been looking. Well, his good form. Look at the good form of Royal Asset 6, 7, 8 races back.
Yeah, this horse just quicker anyway, don't you think?
Who is?
Final Crazy Dude?
He's quicker, but Royal Asset, when he's good, is fast. So he may get a lead early, but Royal Asset will be on him quickly, and he's just a better horse.
Let's check in again with Maggie.
Well, I mean, and he's completely right. I don't know. If he's going to get back to that speed. I don't know. Like I said, he looks a lot better. And since he's a horse that I know, he's a horse that I see out in the mornings training. And he's one that's been here with Rudy Rodriguez's brother, Gustavo, training at Belmont the entire time that they've had him. And he's moving beautifully out there in the morning. So I don't know. And two, I just feel like the class relief is going to help his chances out as well. Now, a horse that is not getting class relief is pretty much staying at the same level is number 11, Malibu Action, for the Toscano barn. Look, I don't really love this horse, but he does physically look well out on the track and in the paddock. On paper, it just doesn't feel like things are going to add up for him as far as dynamics. But again, just one that caught my eye physically if you're looking for a horse in that way. But he is 7-2, so you're not getting a great price on him either, Greg.
To me, he's not slow. I mean, he's going to try and push the Final Crazy Dude, don't you think?
I think so.
Well,
Malibu Action?
Malibu Action.
We'll see. I don't know. I think after last time, they're going to be a little bit reticent to be as aggressive with him.
And they're probably not worried about the 12 getting the lead because he hasn't shown that he can finish.
That's the other thing. I don't think anybody, overly concerned with him. I'm just going to say, once again,
but
the money that we should talk is taking right now makes me think he's going to win.
Here's the other part.
Why is he 3-2?
Well, because the other part, he's got the bug boy. He's carrying 7 pounds less. So
why is Wayshod Talk 8-5 in here? And I'm sorry, when horses get bet like this, I just tend to see them often running better than they should. Because on paper, there is nothing. Can you guys see something I'm missing? That he's supposed to be 8-5 in here? I'm not sure he's supposed to be the favorite on paper.
Yeah, I don't either. Which means he's probably going to win.
I'm not saying he can't win, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sticking with my boy Indian Guy. He's a big price right now at 6-1.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He feels like, doesn't he feel like a value play in here?
Yeah,
makes him the 5th choice.
I think the 12 is not a bad play either.
Okay.
With the bug boy, why not?
Yeah, I didn't like him.
All right, he'll be the last to load. He'll have the lead. Can he hang on? There he is.
Yeah. Will he have the lead?
Larry Colmus with the call. Here's the nightcap from Belmont.
You're all in line. They're off. And the Final Crazy Dude goes out for the lead, along with Malibu Action and Royal Asset. These three with the most early foot. We Should Talk away running in 4th behind them. And then it's Adulation. The trailer is Indian Guide, and they're racing for the far turn. And the Final Crazy Dude is quick enough to clear, leads at 1.5 lengths. Royal Asset is up running in 2nd, moving for the far turn. Then it's Malibu Action in 3rd, 22.46 the first quarter. After that, We Should Talk, who's down on the inside about 3 lengths off the lead as Adulation goes up 3 wide, and it's a 7-length gap back to Indian Guide, who's been well behind so far. Coming toward the top of the stretch, the Final Crazy Dude in front. And now Royal Asset is getting a bit closer. Adulation is coming up there 3 wide, and right in behind them is Malibu Action in 4th. Down toward the inside, We Should Talk, no better than 5th at this stage on the rail. And still the trailer Indian Guide, but getting closer, and they arrive at the 8th pole, and Royal Asset has run on by to take the lead. Indian Guide is moving on the far outside with each and every stride, running out of time and ground. Royal Asset, Indian Guide. Royal Asset holds on. Indian Guide was rolling late, but too late. Then Malibu Action and the Final Crazy Dude.
Oh, Dylan Davis, he was all out on Indian Guide to try and get his 5th winner of the day. Just runs out of ground. Royal Asset with the win under Manny Franco.
But you know what? Maggie pointed out, and that was, to me, that's the best kind of stuff we get from Maggie.
Great
The
call.
fact that she could say that this horse had not been looking good during recent starts, and it corresponded to his PPs. He hadn't been running well. And then she sees him in the paddock and says, he's looking better today. And what happens? We talked about it. He allowed the 12 to go to the lead, but he stalked right behind him. He got his speed back, and he put him in the game. Listen, Dylan did everything right with Indian Guide. He saved ground. He made the big run. He just came up a little bit short, and I'm going to say it now. Why were they betting we should talk?
Yeah, good call by you. I mean, Mamo Franco gave the 5 a great ride. Dylan Davis did all he could do. He was flying late, but they were able to slow down that second quarter, and he was able to let the 12. Benjamin Hernandez took a hold of the 12. He was like, okay, I'll just stalk you, put you away. And then he held everybody else off. So you could see the 4 on the rail, but the 11 wasn't making up any ground. The only horse making any ground was the 3.
Couldn't Indian Guide get there at 7? 7-1. How was he 7-1 in here?
He was trying to, because he was sticking his neck out. Both were. Look at the 5 sticking his neck out too.
But Maggie
feel
saw
good. Yeah, great call from Maggie. Collectively too, I think this may be the best handicapping we've done in a few weeks.
We were due. But you know, I don't want to belabor, but you know, that's the kind, and that's the reason, the difference between what Maggie does and with so many people. She keeps detailed notes on how horses look from race to race, because you can say to me, boy, that horse looks great on the track today, but if that horse always looks great on the track and is never fast enough to win, who cares?
Yeah.
It only matters in relative to how they look in the past, and that's something that Maggie does so well, and that's so important to players.
So 2-1, Royal Asset returns to the winner's circle for the first time since November of last year. 5-3, 11-12. Favorite does not hit the board to close things out, but a chalky afternoon on Friday here comes to a close. We'll be right back with prices. We'll be back to wrap up our show right after this on America's Day at the Races. Stick around.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop arrives in 2019. Mastery standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guys gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on MSG Plus and other regional networks across the country. Good to have you with us as we get set for a big weekend coming up that will include the Pennine Ridge here at Belmont. In the finale,
Pennine Ridge was David Donk, I think. December Hill Farm, Alan Dragon.
Well,
a fine racehorse.
Royal Asset takes this 9th and final here on this Friday afternoon. Manny Franco, you're just talking about needing to warm up a little. Maybe let's kind of kickstart things for him as we head into summer. Wins for Rudy Rodriguez and the Lamarcus stable.
Yeah, Manny's going to start winning races in bunches, and these other guys are riding great, but Manny's going to pick it up.
You know, the pick 5 actually wasn't that bad, $97 if you think about it, because it was favorite, and Royal Asset was 10-1 on the morning line, so you got that tiny bit of value there at the end.
Paid up to $100.50.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. I got around $2.65 for every $2 I put in.
Showdown results on a Friday afternoon.
Gosh, I was rooting for Gina Weena.
At the double, gets it done. And again, this is free to play each and every day on our show, but you're competing for real prizes, including Naira Bets points. So no reason to not get involved each and every day on our show. You go to naira.com/showdown to be involved in the contest. We had some fun races today. Certainly, I talked about it at the top of the show. I've been a fan of Celtic Chaos for a long time. We've seen this horse around for a while. We're probably going to see him down the road at Saratoga as well in some races, proving he's still in sharp form.
I can't wait till he runs at Saratoga because I think he likes that race course better, and you're going to get fuller fields there, and so he's going to be a nice little horse to bet along the way, I think.
I'm a fan. Listen, I like off-the-turf races because they can provide value.
Yeah.
I'd prefer it stopped raining. We didn't have any more the rest of Belmont. We've had enough over the last 6 months of racing at Belmont and Saratoga, but there's value in these races, as we've seen today.
We should be good the next couple of days.
That is going to do it for us. We got a new runner coming to the Belmont Stakes, Bourbon War. Mark Hennig says he's going to show up next Saturday. We will see you tomorrow, Saturday, June 1st. We are back on MSG Plus, Fox Sports Prime Ticket in San Diego from 4 to 6 Eastern Time. It was Rubus in the 8th at Churchill and Celtic Chaos, the old veteran, picking up the 8th win of his career. We will see you on Saturday.